Doesn't mean to look my brother. And really, it's just one shot. They should have it under the cities. Even people who were left in Jordan go just to cross in some. Okay, Mom, I don't see us as monkeys, right? There's something we need to keep up.
Right, the 4 months are not over.
Next question. I don't know. So, you know what the royal family is planning to do next? They resort to fate. Do I even sure? When are you asking? I have already burnt it out. A paralyzed prince is useless. Yes, we both know he cannot be crowned king. So therefore a chick like me be king with a useless man. I am of the opinion we go back to the palace and show him some love. How? But you must show me love. That was why I decided to bring you both together in the first place. I love friends.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. And can you hear now? I can't see anything. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello. Good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, interesting,
Yes,
interesting. Okay,
I hear you, sir. Good evening, sir.
good evening. Welcome. Please mute yourself. In making it as a point of duty to come learn, and there are things that you have learned so far in this training, and that by the end of this training, beyond the certificates, beyond the just hold on briefly. Let us get our facilitator in class. View of our farm produce. Local consumption, because we here in Nigeria, we are also human beings. We know what we are consuming. This project is organized for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative, and it's an NGO, a not-for-profit NGO. Of sustainable agricultural practices. It is important, has been carried out for all the participants at a no cost charge. Get all the training materials, get all the knowledge, and also network with other members here. Because from here, we've already started hearing people say, oh, we were able to network with people, with farmers in Akwa Ibom, we were able to network with farmers in Kebbi, we were able to network with farmers in Abuja. And today, so many guys getting business deals from across the country. That is one of the objectives of this training, and we are happy that we are achieving that. Application at a very subsidized fee to use it as a proof of the knowledge, proof both for academic purposes. Please sit here to make you a co-host so that you can speak. Please all the participants in this class training. Thank you so much. You just give me a few minutes to sort. Short All right, class. Yeah, some people are typing. We can't hear anything. Okay, this is 421. Our facilitator today is still having challenges with her network, and we are unable to. By the time we'll just give it till 4:30. If she's still unable to join by virtue of where she is, we may take a decision on the class. There is sound, just that we've been waiting for our facilitator. I'm discussing with her in the DM, and she's having challenges joining the class. She's joining in and being kicked out due to network issues. So let's just give her some time, and hopefully she will be able to join.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good day, everyone. To wherever you are joining the class this minute. Hello, I hope I'm audible enough that everyone is hearing me. Please make use of the comment section if you are hearing me loud and clear, please, so we can proceed. All right, thank you very much, and welcome to the GSAI Farm Food Safety Participant Training. Today is our 10th training class, in which it was postponed as a result of the Saturday, which being the second day of Salah. So, and as a result of that, we are having that our facilitator for today is having a network glitch. That is a network issue from our end, which is in person of Dr. Idoro Sam, the Acting Director of Animal Science, Department of Agriculture in Akwa Ibom State University. And likewise, we've heard from our past experience and knowledge regarding the topic which she was supposed to be training us on today, which is the post-harvest training, post-harvest handling and storage for food in the farm. So, but once she is able to have a network back from her end, she will join us shortly and commence with the training with us. But a quick one, let's start by having a commentary from individual of our participants on board, as we have the total number on the call now to be 82, though there won't be time enough for every individual of us, that is all the 82 or 81 or 80, to have a feedback from. But at least one individually will be having the feedback, comments on our training so far from the class 1 to the class 9. So right away, before we dive into that, I'm glad and I wish to announce to you all regarding the components of the remaining components of this our GSAI module, aside the training that we have been facilitating for you since the day 1 to date, that we still have another upcoming a lousy and yes, a world experience upcoming event, which is the onboard, that is on field training, which is the field trip. So a modern agri-tech farm in the city of Abuja, in which will be coming up this month on 26th of June 2025. So, and in this our field trip, so this is an agri-tech modern hub in the city of Abuja. It will what, like, when having a class, as we all know that in school, what we are experiencing on field is quite more unique than what we are having on class or in the four wall of class, right? But for us not to be left behind, especially most of us or all of us that we are in the city of Abuja, it will be an experience worldwide. That is, in fact, if you didn't have any adventure throughout the remaining months in this year, but suit yourself to be a participant for this our field trip excursion. So these are modern agri-tech farm in the city of Abuja, which will be comes up on 26th, which is Wednesday of this month. And for you to book a slot, we have a flyers being shared in our respective community group chat. And for the booking of our slot, we have an early bird, which is still on, and that will be expiring on the 15th of this month, before we'll be having the late registration that will be for what? That will be for 45,000 naira. Mind you, this 35,000 naira early bird payment, which is 35,000 naira that ought to expire on the 15th of this month, covers all the expenses of to and fro from the city of Abuja to the farm place and back to our designated kickoff point in the morning on that day, 10 a.m. So for you to have out of the remaining slot that we have left, try to reach out to the listed or highlighted number contact on the flyer to secure your spot now and experience a worldwide World Food Safety Commemoration Day. In regarding to the World Food Safety Commemoration Day, so that's for that on our field trip to the world, to the CSS farm in Abuja, where you will be having your what a practical experience of what a commercial farm, and even those of us that we are doing the backyard farming too, that we can improvise or imbibe in culturing for our backyard farming. Everybody eats what we produce in our respective farm, either sack back farming and the likes of others. Everything at
Hello,
the
sir.
farm produce. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Mr. Suleiman, hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, sorry
Yes,
for
I'm with
interrupting
you.
you. I needed to update you that our facilitator is in class and she's ready to
Hello,
come
sir.
on. She's ready to come on. So please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, I said I wanted to update you that our facilitator is in class. So you just round up and let's hand over to her.
Oh, okay. Fine, awesome. So thank God we have our facilitator back on track. So in the couple of the remaining minutes that we'll be having, she will be diving and run us on board on today's topic, which is the post-harvest handling and storage for food in the farm. So welcome back, our dear facilitator, Dr. Ijore Meme Sam. Thank you for joining us this minute. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. The student.
Okay. Good evening.
But we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry for the delay. It has been the network. I've been struggling to fix it, but I'm happy I'm here with you. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry, we are behind time. I'm happy to be a part of this program. Honestly, I appreciate the organizers. That's the Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative. The issue of post-harvest handling and storage for food safety is a key thing in production, which if you miss it at that point, in fact, most of the production will be running at a loss. So I am Dr. Mrs. Idorian Meme Sam from Department of Animal Science, Akwa Ibom State University. We'll be looking at post-harvest handling and storage for food safety and on the farm. And on that, we have a few outlines I will be looking at. I hope everybody is still with me. Hello? 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 I hope I'm still on. Hello?
Yes, ma, we can hear you. You can go on.
Okay. I was not hearing any response. So I was feeling whether
you
we
can
are
always
still
check in
connected.
the chat box for replies.
It's okay. Okay, so the outline that we have, we'll look at this evening is, we'll quickly look at some introduction, which will be kind of definition of terms. Then we'll look at the food safety in post-harvest handling. We'll look at key food safety hazards. Then we'll look at steps in post-harvest handling. We'll also look at food safety practices in storage. Then we'll also be looking at common post-harvest problems and solutions. Then we'll talk about record keeping and traceability. I think that's where we'll conclude. So let's dive into the main work, which is post-harvest handling. I want to say that post-harvest handling refers to a series of operations performed on crops, on produce, could be crops, could be animals, immediately after harvesting to prepare it for consumption, storage, or markets. And it includes cleaning, sorting, grading, packaging, transportation, and storage. All those ones are included in what we call post-harvest handling. That's immediately after you harvest your produce, which could be crops, which could be animals. Those are the handling that you will do before it gets to the final consumer. And I want us to look at importance. What are the important? Why do we need to handle this produce very well after harvest? There are so many reasons why it should be The first one I've listed about 5 here, which is the first one is to maintain food quality and safety. Then reduction in post-harvest losses. Then enhance shelf life. That's shelf life of the produce, and to ensure consumers' health and increase market value income. When we talk about maintenance of food quality and safety, you know, when we harvest this produce, some of them, the tissues are still living. So depending on how you handle it, the tissues can deteriorate faster than necessary. So proper handling after harvesting will ensure that your produce still have the freshness that it's supposed to have, still tastes the same, and still appears the same. You look at some vegetables, if we don't handle them well, 2 or 3 days after, the color will change and it will not be attractive again. Another very important reason is that it reduces post-harvest losses. Post-harvest losses. What we mean by post-harvest losses there is the degradation in quantity and quality of agricultural produce from the time of harvest until the last person uses it, that's the final consumer. There are a lot of losses at that point, at that level during production. In fact, most of the losses farmers incur are mostly appear around that period after harvest. So the way you handle your products after harvest determine how the amount of losses that you're going to incur. And if you handle your products very well, your produce very well, those losses will be limited, will be minimized to the barest minimum. And when this happens, you are going to improve food security. You know, when you reduce the number of produce that are damaged, the food that goes to the market will be increased, and food security will also be improved. And also increase farmers' income. When we reduce post-harvest losses due to the way we handle the products after harvest properly, we are going to have, the farmer is going to have increase in income because there will be less losses and more to sell. And definitely we'll be able to boost agricultural GDP. That's trying to add to the national economy in agricultural sector. Then another important reason why after harvesting we should handle our produce very well is that it enhances shelf life. If you handle your produce well, the shelf life will be enhanced. Will be enhanced. What do we mean by shelf life? That is the length of time a product remains usable or fit for consumption or for sale. Some produce have longer periods while some others have shorter periods. Like the vegetables will always be shorter than the grains. But depending on how you handle it, the shelf life can be shorter than what it should be. If you handle it properly after harvest, you'll be able to get at least to the normal maximum time that product is supposed to be. The same thing with grains. So shelf life, when you handle your product very well after harvest, the shelf life of that product will be enhanced. Then when you enhance this shelf life, what does it mean? What does it add? It means that there will be reduction in the spoilage of the product, and there will be less wastage. And the nutritional content of that product will be maintained, because if they are damaged, the nutritional content of the produce will not be there, and it will also affect the final consumer. Then another one is to ensure, that's the third point, that's why we should handle produce after harvest very well, is to ensure consumers' health. In all of this that we do, consumer is the last person that benefits from the farm produce that we produce. So if the farmer's health is not taken into consideration, it means what the farmer does is just trying to poison people. So when we properly handled the produce that we harvest, it will ensure consumers' health. For instance, it will prevent contamination into the product. You know, as we are producing these products, we have certain chemicals that we use to do certain things, like the pesticides and the herbicides. If we don't handle them properly, those things can be passed on into the produce and sent, and the final consumer will be the one that will suffer from it. And most of those chemicals, we all know that it's not supposed to get to human, but somehow, because of poor handling, those chemicals actually get to human bloodstream and it has a way of affecting negatively. But when these things are handled properly, the consumer's health is seriously enhanced. And another important factor is increase in market value and income. You know that market value has to do with the price of a particular product at the particular time in the market. So if we don't handle our produce after harvest properly, then what will get to the market will not be good enough for the value that we intend to get, and the income will be increased, will be reduced. So handling post-harvest very well, handling our produce after harvesting very well will always increase market values and income. Just like we have stated these advantages of handling produce very well after harvesting. Each of them, the opposite of them is also the disadvantage. If we don't handle them well, then the quality of the food will reduce. And if we don't handle them well, also, we'll have a lot of losses after harvesting, which is not what we want. If we don't handle them well, the shelf life will not be maintained, and still we'll still run at a loss as a farmer. Then also, if we don't handle it well after harvesting, we are going to have issue with health. And you know, health is wealth. So when we have issues with health, it doesn't really go well. So therefore, the final one that we say is that increases market values and income. The opposite of it is that it will decreases market values and income. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of properly handling produce after harvest. Then the next thing I want us to look at, if you follow the outline that we mentioned, I want us to look at key food safety hazards. That's food safety in post-harvest handling. The key food safety hazards, we have about 3 of them: the biological hazards, the chemical hazards, and the physical hazards. I would like us to take them one after another. We will start with the biological hazards. Biological hazards are hazards caused by harmful microorganisms, such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. These are the common problems. These are the common issues that causes food poisoning. Fungi and mold can actually cause issue as lead to toxin like aflatoxin that can lead to liver cancer. So those are some of the hazards that if we don't properly handle these products, it can lead us to. And viruses like hepatitis often spread through human. If the handlers, that's the workers in the field, if they're not properly, if their hygiene is not good, one can pass that, because when you carry virus and use it to pick fruits or vegetable, the next person that picked it, that thing may pass to the person. So those are the biological hazards that can be seen if a produce harvested is not properly handled. Then we have the chemical hazards. Remember, I said we'll be looking at biological hazard, chemical hazards, and physical hazards. So we are done with biological hazards, which has to do with microorganisms, poorly handled food produce being passed to human through food. Then the chemical hazards, this one involves contamination by harmful chemicals that can be toxic if consumed. For example, just as I mentioned earlier, we use some chemicals to produce what we produce. If we don't handle those chemicals well, some residues can be left in the food, and when passed to human, it could be harmful. So these chemical hazards, they gain access by washing produce with pesticide-contaminated waters, using non-food grade chemicals, using during cleaning. That's water that is not fit, we use it. Then maybe you use certain things to disinfect your equipment, and after you must have finished, you didn't rinse it well, and those things pass into the produce. And when eaten by human, causes hazard. These can be controlled. These chemical hazards can be controlled by following recommended pesticide withdrawal periods, using food self-cleaning chemicals, keeping equipment well maintained to avoid leakage, because sometimes the equipment you use, the fuel can leak out and touch the food produce, and It will remain in the residue, and when human eat, it causes a problem. Then we move on to the physical hazards. Physical hazards are those ones that involved seeing physical things. That's foreign bodies in food, foreign bodies in the food, in the produce that we finish from the farm. Maybe you can see something like stone. Mostly when we deal with rice, you'll be eating rice, you're thinking that the rice is free of stone. Before you know it, you match it and it could affect your teeth. And maybe you're selecting your beans, before you know it, you see broken bottle, see somebody's hair, see something that is not supposed to be there. Those are physical hazards that if by chance it gets to human body, it's a problem, very serious problem. And you know, this physical hazard, just like I said, can gain access to food during manual harvesting, mechanical damage from properly maintained equipment, and improper packaging or damaged containers. These ones can be controlled by sorting and inspecting produce to remove debris, maintain equipment, and inspect regularly, and also to enforce personal hygiene and dress code, especially with the staff. You can say that you're coming here, there's no need to, your hair must be covered. You will not wear earring, you wear protective clothing and all of those. So staff can also be trained on how to handle produce carefully to avoid damage. So those are some of the hazards that we see in food that, if not properly handled, can cause some kind of safety issues to consumers. I want us to move on to steps in post-harvest handling. Steps in post-harvest handling. I think that's the major thing of this lesson. Steps in post-harvest handling. We are going to start with the very first step, which is the harvesting itself. The very first step will be the harvesting itself. What do you do to maintain all these things that we say? Maintain quality, maintain, ensure shelf life, ensure consumers' health, and all of those. All these things start while you are harvesting. The first thing that you use clean tools and containers. You're going in to harvest anything, tomatoes, vegetable, anything. Those equipment that you're about to use should be clean, should be sanitized before using them. You will not use, you will use a particular equipment previous year and you did not wash it. The following day, you use it again. And even on a daily basis, once you finish a particular day's job, those equipment, those containers that you use should be cleaned. The following day, as you're going back to the farm, new set of equipment should be used. Then, still under harvesting, healthy personnel, very, very important. Healthy personnel. Workers should practice good personal hygiene. That's workers, people going into harvest, especially fruits, vegetables that are going to be eaten raw. The people working there should be clean. Should be clean, not because you're going to the farm, you will just go, you will not wash your hand, you will wear dirty clothes. No, workers should practice good personal hygiene, clean hands, no open wounds, protective clothing. By so doing, you protect the produce that you're harvesting from certain microbes that would have come with deaths. Then you avoid ground contact, that's dropping whatever you're harvesting on the ground, especially for produce eaten raw. Avoid letting them touch the soil, which can harbor pathogens. You're harvesting anything, you want to spray it on the floor, then get something, tarpaulin, rubber, spray it before you spray whatsoever you're harvesting. It's not you just harvest something, pour them on the ground like that. There are so many pathogens on the ground that if you spray them like that, you will not know which of which will get into the product and will affect the consumer, and the safety of the consumer cannot be ensured. Another thing is that we should, during harvesting, we should ensure that we harvest at maturity. This issue that you will just see, you see people harvest banana, plantain that are not matured. They will just pick it, drop it. Before you know, especially the banana, they will now begin to look for a way to make it ripe, and they will look for chemicals that are not supposed to go into the body, into the to make the product to ripe on time. And those things that they apply is not meant for human, and it can affect the human, any human that eats it. So right from that time of harvesting, allow your product to be matured enough. Avoid bruising them. Harvest them with care. don't get them caught, because it's from those caught places that the spoilage will start from. So whenever we are harvesting, we should do that with care. Use clean equipment, clean containers. The personnel, the workers should be clean, should practice good personal hygiene. Then we should avoid dropping those things directly on the ground. Then another one is washing. That's another step. The second step here is cleaning and washing. When you're cleaning whatsoever product you're doing, when you're washing them, I think the best is to use potable water. Use clean water. When you use clean water, you'll be able to remove the dirt that are there. If there was any pesticide residue, you'll be able to remove it by washing with clean water. But if you fetch dirty water to wash it, you will even be adding more dirt, more microbes to what you're trying to wash. And where necessary, you can do some form of disinfection. There are certain crops that you may need to use mild chlorine or other food-safe sanitizers to reduce microbial load, remove dirt and residues, and damage the parts. So that's the next step, that you can proper handling of your product after harvest is to clean and wash with a clean potable water. Then another step is sorting and grading. Sorting and grading, that is removal of damaged or diseased produce. This prevents the spread of microorganisms. As you are harvesting your produce, there is need to sort them into classify them, the big ones, the small ones, the one that has cuts, the one who doesn't have cuts. When you do that, you'll be able to separate them, so that those ones will cut that maybe there must have been something like microbes in it. If you join it with the other one that didn't have any cuts, it could pass to that one. So there's need to separate them. Then sort them according to sizes, ripeness, and quality. This will help prevent cross-contamination between good and spoiled items. Apart from that, grading also enhances uniformity in market. When you grade your produce according to sizes and quality, you'll be able to state prices that you will sell, and to give you higher profits than just mixing everything together. We are looking at steps in post-harvest handling. We have looked at the harvesting itself, we have looked at washing, and we are on sorting and grading, which we have just finished discussing. Then the next step is drying. Drying, especially for grains. Controlled drying, especially important for grains and legumes, to prevent mold growth and aflatoxin contamination. Especially for grains like maize and things like that, there's need to dry them properly, because if they're not dried properly, when they are damp, you will give room for fungi to grow on them. And when they grow on them, it comes up with this toxin that when humans eat, it has a way of causing problem on them. Then proper curing, for crops like onions, potatoes, yam, curing helps toughen skin and reduces microbial infection. Dry to save moisture content. The different produce have their different moisture content that should be kept. So you watch out for that and make sure you dry them to that. And use clean drying surfaces when you're drying your produce. Use clean drying surface. Don't just throw them on the ground, just like I said earlier. You see people, they will fetch corn, you see them drying on the road. They are drying corn directly on by the roadside. It's not right. Those things should be spread on something neat, so that pathogens from the soil, from the ground, will not get into these products. And another thing is to avoid direct contact. Avoid direct contact. Avoid direct contact with the soil. I've stressed that. So drying, you dry them on clean surfaces, and make sure you dry to the moisture that will keep them, and avoid the issue of a mold or aflatoxin on them. Then another important aspect is packaging. Packaging. Food grade packaging materials are very important. When you're getting those materials to package your products, make sure that they don't contain toxic substances, and they must protect. You should use a packaging that will protect the food or the produce from pests and contaminants. And if it is something that you have to send out, there will be need for proper labeling. This labeling should include expiring dates, batch numbers, and storage instructions to ensure traceability. Then also use clean food grade packaging. Avoid toxic or previously used chemical bags. People are just fond of going around any bag they see. The one they use to package chicken feed, they will use it like that. If you must use old bag, then it should be properly washed. So packaging also help in reducing the safety of the food. If you don't package your food well, it can add microbes to whatsoever you're doing, can add injury to the food that you're doing, which will become unsafe for human consumption. So packaging is another key issue in the post-harvest handling. The next one is transportation. Transportation is another issue after harvesting. How do you transport your produce from the farm to the house and from the farm to the market where you want to sell? People just feel because it's agricultural produce, they can just put it in anything. You can just call any vehicle, any van. The one that carried the palm oil yesterday can come and carry a cucumber today or tomatoes today without the vehicle being washed. No, any vehicle that we want to use, there's always need that we clean it, because if you don't clean the previous thing that was packed there, you don't know what was packed there, and the microbes that were there, the pathogens that were there, if you did not wash it, it will be transferred to your own produce. So there is need to sanitize vehicles. So transport equipment must be cleaned before loading. Whatever you're going to use to transport your produce, you should try as much as possible to make sure it is clean. Whether it's a lorry, whether it's tricycle, whether it's bus, whatever it is, just make sure that whatever you're using is clean. Then protection from heat and moisture is also important. Then another important thing is to avoid co-transporting with harmful substances. You're carrying tomatoes, your pesticide is there, your fuel is there, everything is there. When you're transporting, to have a good outcome of your produce after harvest, transport everything separately. There's no need to pack everything together, because the fuel can pour inside tomatoes. You will not know, and some farmers will not want to discard of those ones. They will still sell. So the best thing is to transport them separately. And most importantly, avoid packing overloading to prevent crushing some of the things that you're trying to transport. That's another step. Then we can look at record keeping. Record keeping also is very, very important, because if you don't have records of what you're doing in the farm, you may not even know whether you're making profits or not. And if anything happens, you will not be able to say, if you send out your produce before, they say, okay, there were some issues with the tomatoes that were bought from so place. They say, okay, let's go back to that farm. If you didn't have any records of what you did, you could get into trouble with food safety issues. So there's need to keep records. And these records too is not just keeping record during the harvest or post-harvest. There's need to keep record right from the time you start the program. Clearing of the bush, tillage, planting, weeding. There's need to have records of all those, detailed records with dates and the activities that were done each day. So you should have records of all of those, so that you'll be able to make accounts, whether you're making profits or not. Another important step in post-harvesting is training and awareness. Training and awareness, just like what this initiative is doing now, training you on how to handle your produce, which I really want to thank them for bringing up this training. Training you, there's need for you also to go back and train the people around you, your workers, the people around you, train them too. On all these things we are saying now, there's need for you to go back and let them be aware. Continuous training, especially in the personal hygiene. This issue, I'm in the farm, I can just be anyhow because I'm in the farm. These issues, you should train them that it's not just farm. What you're touching is important. The safety of the consumer will eat is important. So you train them on personal hygiene, handling procedures, how to handle equipment, and safety standards in the farm. All of this will help to reduce contamination, because when they are aware, they will also work towards it and make sure that the things are done properly. Then a use of a food safety standards. There are so many standards globally. The one around you, look at it and use it. The general one is this hazard analysis and critical control points, which is globally and it ensures compliance. So you look at those safety standards and try to adhere to them. So if you follow all these things in after harvesting, we follow all these steps gradually, then the food, the produce that will get to the final consumer will be safe. And apart from being safe, it will also help you, the farmer, to make more profit, because when you follow up these things one after another, you reduce losses. And when you reduce losses, what does it mean? It means you're making more profits. So that is it on these steps in post-harvesting. I want to believe that when we go back from here, we are going to educate other people and try to follow these steps properly, especially in the area of personal hygiene, because I know that aspect, most people still feel they are going to the farm, so they can just wear anything. They can wake up, they will not bath, they are going to the farm. So that is it. After that, I want us to look at storage, because that was part of our topic too, storage. Post-harvest handling and storage for food safety. So the first part that we just concluded were the post-harvest handling. I want us to look at the storage aspect. You know, storage is also very important. After harvest, the way food is stored play a critical role in maintaining its safety, quality, and nutritional value. We know that if you don't handle it well, at that point, the nutritional values can go off. If it is the one that you're supposed to dry and you didn't dry well, when it is damp, you know, fungi will grow on it, mold will come up, aflatoxin will be there, and it will know the nutrient content will be reduced. And definitely quality will go down, and it will not be safe again for consumer. Therefore, it's very important to know how to store our produce after harvesting. Poor storage can lead to contamination, spoilage, and loss, ultimately affecting food security and the farmer's income. So we are going to look at some of the measures we can take to ensure post-harvest storage. That post-harvest storage enhance food security. So in the next few slides, we are going to look at that. The first one, the first food safety practice in storage is to clean and sanitize the storage area. Wheresoever you want to store your produce, it is necessary and very important for you to clean that place. Is it going to be a store? Is it going to be a container? Is it going to be a warehouse? Is it going to be a silo? Is it going to be a barn? Whatsoever it is, where you want to store your produce, there is need to clean that place or that container very well. If you had used that place the previous year to store your things, there is need to clean it, remove the old residue, disinfect the place to avoid contamination from molds and bacteria and even pests. So the first major thing in storage is to use a clean storage equipment, clean storage facility, clean storage facility. That's the first step. Then the next one is control temperature. The next one is control temperature. Different crops, we know that different crops have their own different storage conditions. There are some that need cold place, there are some that need dry place. So depending on the crop that you're working with, there's need for you to follow the normal temperature and humidity. If not, whatever you're storing will not be good. We know that for grains, they need cold and dry place. We know that for fruits and vegetables, they need low temperatures. So whatsoever you're trying to store, follow the storage condition of that produce. Then another important point is the use of proper containers. The use of proper containers. Use food grade containers. Whatsoever you're doing, let it be proper container that you're using to store a particular thing. Like tomatoes, you're not supposed to store it in a bag. It's supposed to be in a crate or basket. So if you carry potatoes and store in a bag, you know the outcome of it. So whatsoever produce they are producing, they have certain things that you need to use to store them. So you use those things to store them. Proper containers for storing. Avoid using a chemical treated bags or previously used a packaging that could carry contamination. In whatsoever containers you're using, try to clean them. Then another important food safety practice in storage is prevention of pest infestation. prevention of pest infestation. Inspect stores. Inspect stores, store food regularly. That's where you store your produce. Try to inspect it from time to time. Don't just store your things and off you go. Use a fumigation if necessary, or even hermetic storage bags to protect rodents, insects, and you go. See, when you want to sell that thing, or store your things from time to time to ensure that it is still safe. Because even if you move there from time to time, if anything wants to come up, you'll be able to sort it out. Then another very important aspect is this one: first in, first out. What do I mean by first in, first out? It means you try to label your produce with harvest dates. Try to label your produce with harvest dates, as in your store, you know which date you put this one, which date did I put this one, which date did I put this one, so that at the end of the day, when you're trying to take them out to the market, you start from the first one you put there, because the first one you put there is the first one that came there, and the shelf life of that one has started. So it's better to pick from the earliest to the latest. So that's what I mean by first in, first out. Label your produce with harvest dates. Always use or sell older stock first to prevent deterioration and reduce the waste. Another important point is to avoid cross-contamination. Avoid cross-contamination. Separate, I think I mentioned this earlier. Separate animal feeds, chemicals, fertilizer, pesticide, and harvested food products. Don't have one store. In this one store, that's where your fertilizer is. That's where your harvested corn are. That is where your cucumber are. That is where your animal feed are. No. When you do that, there could be leakage from the chemicals that could get to the produce that you have harvested, which could lead to cross-contamination, which is a major source of a food poisoning. So avoid cross-contamination by trying to have sections for everything you do. The harvested food should be somewhere, equipment should be somewhere, chemicals should be somewhere. All of them should not be all at the same point. Then regular monitoring. I think I've said this before. Periodically check store food for signs of spoilage, space, and unusual odors, because if you just go and you go, you will not know when the things will start getting spoiled. But if you keep checking, you can open the store and you perceive one funny odor and you try to check what is this, and you can fix that before the thing spread. So you regularly monitor whatsoever you stored. And this is the one we mentioned earlier: workers, hygiene, and training. Very important. Provide training on food safety principles. As this initiative is training you, it is important that you train others. As you go back, people around you, the people working for you, you train them on the importance of food safety. Workers must wear protective clothing. Encourage them to wear gloves when they are dealing with food. Encourage them to wear apron, boots. You can buy those protective clothing for them. Enforce hand washing with soap and clean water. Very important. Because sometimes we just feel, oh, because it's a farm, we can just do anything. No. As we wash our hands, whatsoever we are touching, most of them will be devoid of a microbe, because as we touch this, you don't know what is in your hand. You try the same thing, touch food, you transfer to the food. In storage area, when you are working there, hands should be washed. And most importantly, there should be no smoking, no eating or spitting near produce where you're storing things. You will see people with where the bags of beans are heaped. You see people will lie down there and sleep. People will sit down there to eat and drink. As they are drinking, some water will be dripping into the back of the whatsoever they store there. So that should be avoided. And sometimes they will even spit. As you're spitting, the thing is dropping on the bag that we store. So we should watch out for this. Where we are storing things, we should train our workers not to. They should be eating area. They should be area that when you're tired, you sit, not where the things are stored. Then report and isolate sick workers. Sick workers should be given day off. Anybody that you notice is sick, should be given day off, should be given casual leave. People should not be forced to work when they are sick. Because whatsoever, when somebody is sick, sometimes somebody with nasal discharge, they are working, trying to pack things. As they are cleaning the nasal discharge, they are using the same hand to touch back of bins. Things may be moved to that bins, which is not safe for the final consumer. So these are the things that we should train our workers, people around us, as we are going back home. We should train them on food safety, let them wear protective clothing, enforce washing of hands, that's personal hygiene. And anybody that's sick should be isolated, or not isolated kind of, but should be given a day off, should be given leave. People are entitled to sick leave. People should not be forced to work when they are sick. It's not good. It's not good for the produce, and it's not also good for the worker. So let's try to educate our workers on this. Okay, having said that, I just want us to move on to look at one or two post-harvest problems that we normally have and some of their solutions. So common post-harvest problem includes spoilage due to improper handling, storage and transportation, as well as pest and disease infestation. Solutions involved optimizing handlings, employing proper storage techniques, utilizing improved transport methods, and implementing pest and disease control strategies. Those are the general problems and some solutions. I think in the next few slides, we should be looking at
Hello, doctor. We can't hear you any longer. Can you hear us? Hello, doctor. We can't hear you any longer. I don't know if you can hear us. Or is it just me? Can others hear her? Drop in the chat box if you can hear her. Okay,
hello?
let's just...
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Okay, doctor, we can hear you now. We were not hearing you before. We can hear you now.
Okay. It's okay. So I was on common post-harvest problems and solutions. So I said specifically we have spoilage due to improper handling. Damage during harvesting, handling, and sorting can lead to bruising, fungal growth, and overall quality degradation. So what I said there was that you can solve that problem by being gentle when you're harvesting, using gentle harvesting techniques, using appropriate handling equipment, and ensure proper sorting and grading to minimize the damage. Then the next one is spoilage due to storage. That you could have spoilage during storage, just like we mentioned earlier, like high temperature, humidity, and poor storage condition can accelerate the spoilage and shorten the shelf life. Solution there is to maintain optimal storage temperature and ensure high relative humidity, and use clean, well-maintained storage facilities. Then we have also problem due to spoilage due to transportation, still common post-harvest problem. That's spoilage due to transportation. Long transport times, poor packaging, and lack of refrigeration can lead to significant losses. So when you have to travel from long distance to bring one thing from one point to another, if it's not properly taken care of, we could have a lot of losses there. And poor packaging, depending on where you're going to, you should package it very well, whatsoever. If those things use proper containers, just like we said, proper packaging materials will help to reduce this problem. So what I said as solution here was that invest in improved transport infrastructure. We may not have really direct impact on building roads, but if it is something that you need to refrigerate, you can do that. Then use proper packaging. That one is in your hand. And plan routes to minimize travel time. If there are alternative routes that are shorter, you can also do the same thing. Use the alternative routes that are shorter. instead of using a very long route to reduce spoilage. You know, sometimes when we bring all some of these things that come from northern Nigeria to southern Nigeria, sometimes before they get here, half of the thing must have been spoiled. So those are some of the spoilage due to transportation. Then we have the issue of pest and disease infestation. This one is that insects, rodents, pathogens can cause significant losses during storage and transportation. Solution there is to practice sanitation, use insect-resistant storage containers, and employ biological control methods. Specific example is drying grains before storage. This one will help to prevent moisture-related problems and insect infestations. Then another issue too is food quality and safety. That's another post-harvest problem and solution. I think we have discussed this before now. Poor handling and storage can lead to food quality degradation and safety issues. If you don't handle it well, it can lead to food poisoning, because when those aflatoxin are developed in them and human eats, it leads to a lot of issues. When you hear food, oh, somebody ate food and the tummy is paining, it's those kind of things that was not properly handled. And the solution there is just to implement quality control measures at each stage of the post-harvest process to ensure food safety and quality. We had discussed all those stages of post-harvest. It's for us to take quality control of those measures that we mentioned earlier, and this food quality issue will be solved. This one I have here is a table of just the summary of what we just discussed: problem, causes, and solution. Spoilage and rot, that's poor sanitation, high moisture, and improve hygiene. Dry properly, those are the solutions. Then insect infestation, unsealed storage, contaminated produce. We can use a hematic storage and fumigate where necessary. Then mold and aflatoxin contamination, that one is caused by high moisture and warm condition. It's just to dry thoroughly and use aerated storage. Physical damage, that one is rough handling, just to train your workers to handle things carefully. And that is it, just the summary of what we discussed earlier. Then record keeping and traceability. Just like I mentioned earlier, it is very key. Record keeping is very key, not only at the harvest time, but just when you are starting the business, clearing of the farm, tilling, planting, weeding, all those dates should be recorded, and activities done in each date should be recorded up to the point of harvesting. Harvest dates should be recorded, storage conditions, pest control activities, the way the workers' hygiene were practiced, all those things should be recorded in record books. It helps. One, it will help you to know what you're doing in the farm. At the end of the day, did you make any profit or not? And also, if there's any issue as you're sending your farm produce out, if there's any issue somewhere that is traced to your farm, when you bring your farm record, you can exonerate yourself from that. So that is what we have. But that is what we have for this post-harvest handling and storage for food safety in the farm. I can maybe conclusively, I would just say that proper post-harvest handling and storage are critical for maintaining food safety, minimizing losses, and ensuring consumer satisfaction. Safe practices must be observed at every stage, from harvest to storage, to protect both public health and farm income. And this is the few references that I used to put up this. I used to put up these slides. And this is me saying thank you for everybody that is here with me. I appreciate you so much. I still want to apologize for joining late. The network really, the network was not friendly initially at all. I appreciate you all, and most especially, I appreciate Growth for Sustainable Development Initiative for deeming me fit to be part of this training. Thank you very much. So I hope you're still hearing me. Okay.
Yes, yes, Doctor, we can still hear you, and we are so excited. Thank you so much. Despite the initial challenge, you have done serious justice to this topic. And while you were talking, I was remembering some experiences that I've had as a farmer back in the day when we used to plant cucumber, and we'll just come out. In fact, if the water that farmers used to use to wash their cucumber and pack it in a bag, you'll be wondering if they want to sell it to humans or animals. Even if they want to give it to animals, the water, some just fetch rainwater from the soil. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Honestly.
We are going to give opportunity to 3 students because we are actually far behind time. And there's another training that will be happening in the next 20 minutes still on this Zoom platform. So we'll just give room to 3 students who will raise their hands, and we'll take questions. Please, when you are given the opportunity, you mention where you are from, you appreciate the facilitator, and in less than 1 minute, ask your question. We will take 3 questions, and then the facilitator will round up all the answers, and then we call it a close. So we will, and then those that I've seen some hands here, but they don't have names. They have phone names. I may not be able to call you here. So please, if you want me to call you, you rename yourself. But apparently we even have more hands. So I'll just start with Abba Mutala. Abba Mutala, unmute yourself. Tell us where you're listening from. Appreciate the facilitator. All this within 1 minute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to everyone. How are you, Doctor? We are very happy and we appreciate your lecture. And what I want to ask you is that I want more explanation about the chemical hazard. I hear about what you said. The chemical hazard can affect our crops or our planting materials. But when we spray a chemical on our plant or our crops, how does this chemical affect our farmland? Okay, farmland crops. I want more explanation from you, sir, Doctor.
Okay, thank you.
No, Doctor, please, let's just take all the questions so that you answer at once.
Okay,
Abba Mutala, where are you calling from? Or where are you listening from?
I am from Kaduna State.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Abba Mutala. Okay, next person is Jennifer Morishima Sata. Please, Abba Mutala, please mute yourself.
Okay, on mute. Okay, let me mute my.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, man. Thank you so much, Doctor, for this wonderful section. I am speaking from Benue State. I am a farmer in Benue State, and I got attracted to each and every details you have mentioned, but the one that stood up was about the record keeping. I want to know the type of record a startup farmer is to keep in order to attract investors. And nowadays, is it ideal for you to keep an account book or a digital tool? And if yes, what are the digital tools for the record keeping? Thank you so much, man. This was awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Jennifer, anyway, I'll just allow the facilitator. We were not talking about record keeping for investors. We're talking about record keeping for food safety. So anyway, I'll just leave that to the discretion of the facilitator. The records might be almost the same, but the purpose also matters. So let me leave that. If the facilitator wants to take that, she will decide to take that. And then the last person is Moraina Kadijat. Moraina Kadijat, please unmute. Tell us where you're calling from, you're listening from, and appreciate the facilitator and ask a question. Okay, Moraina, you've been asked to unmute. Okay, if Moraina is not there, we just move on to Justice Cletus. Justice Cletus, you've been asked to unmute. Please unmute and tell us where you're
good
calling
morning.
from.
This is Justice Cletus calling from Kaduna State. Much appreciation to the presenter, Doctor. You've really done excellently well. Mine is, since we are talking about ensuring food safety in terms of post-harvest and whatever, but I think premature harvesting don't it have effect to all these that we are all talking about? Because sometimes farmers you discover in a rush of to get income or whatever, you find out that the farmer will just go in and begin to harvest his or her crop, not minding whether it has actually matured for harvesting or not. So what is the implication of that, Doctor? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can I respond? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, doctor, please go ahead.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate everyone that have asked questions. It means you were listening very well. I appreciate you all. I want to start with the first person. I think the question is chemical hazard in crops. How does that affect human, right? If I got it well. Yes, normally, as we are planting these crops, there are certain chemicals we use. Sometimes we use pesticides to guide against pests. Sometimes we use herbicides, and even when we finish, sometimes we use some disinfectants to clean the containers we are using. And this chemical, pesticide, is not meant for human to use. There are these pesticides, most of them have withdrawal periods. So there are some farmers, if they don't follow those withdrawal periods very well, they can spray these pesticides and then harvest the produce at the time that they are not supposed to harvest. And by so doing, there are residues of this chemical in the produce that is being harvested. And when it is eaten by human, some of those residues will get to human body, bloodstream, which is not supposed to be so, and it's not safe for that human. The issue is about residue, not directly. And even the disinfectant we are talking about, you may use it to wash. It's not meant for human. It's just to maybe clear some microbes, and you don't rinse it well, and it passes into the food. It's not safe for the consumer. And even there are certain water that we use. You get water from somewhere with heavy metals. You use it to clean the food produce, and the heavy metals the residues are left in the food. And when the consumer eats, those things pass on to the consumer and cause a lot of problems. When we hear cancers and all this one, it's things like this. Therefore, we need to handle this thing properly. Read our labels. When we are supposed to withdraw this chemical, we should withdraw them and give that time for the residue to get wear off before being eaten. I don't know if I've answered that question. That's what I mean by a chemical hazard. We can manage it well and it's being passed on to human. And that one can be, the solution is just to follow the labels in whatsoever we are using and follow the withdrawal periods. When we spray them, we give the time. If it's 2 weeks, if it is 1 month, then that we should allow it for that time before harvesting. That's for that one. For the person from Benue that is talking about record keeping, I think the moderator have already answered the question for me. What we are doing here was not really about getting investors for banking people to come, but definitely from what I said, if you keep records in your farm, from day one as you're starting, the clearing, the planting, the weeding, all the activities that you're doing, if you keep track of them to the end, up to harvesting, storage, even sending to the market how much you sell, if you have those records, you can what we are talking about was for safety in case this food goes out and there's issue somewhere and they say this thing was coming from so farm. If they get back to your farm and you bring your record book, you can be able to exonerate yourself. No, whatsoever happened, this is what happened. These are the chemicals we use. This is the time we use. This is the time we withdraw. This is the time we harvested. You can exonerate yourself. But in the issue of getting investors, yes, if you have a good record book, like I'm saying, and you're looking for a loan in the bank, first and foremost, they want to see what you have been doing, your turnover. So if you have a good record of what you've been doing, it's not going to be difficult to get a loan or to get investor to come in there. I think that's what I will answer on that one. Then the third person from Justice Cletus from Kaduna was talking about ensuring food safety when we get a premature harvest. Yes, I think I mentioned something like this. I said, as we are harvesting, we should harvest at the right time. We should not harvest that there's issue these days because of thefts, honestly. You see people harvest plantain and banana very prematurely. They'll bring it, they say because of thieves and all of those. And sometimes they bring this thing, they use certain chemicals on them just to get them ripen on time for them to sell. I know this chemical is still part of the chemical hazards we are talking about. Those chemicals were not meant for human. for human consumption. And because we harvested this thing prematurely, and we are looking for a way to make them mature on time, this thing will also have a way of affecting the safety of human. And if you want to go into nutritional aspect of it, if you bring up some things that are not mature enough, honestly, the nutritional content of it will not be the same as the one that is matured. So that's the answer I can give to that one. Thank you very much. Hello, are we still together? Hello?
Yes, very much together, Doctor. Thank you so very much. And yeah, I will just want, okay, so I will not take questions again.
Okay.
If you would like to appreciate the facilitator, please just raise your hand. I just want to have just two more people say something to the facilitator. Okay, Utibakwa, you unmute and appreciate the facilitator on behalf of
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Utube.
Okay, sincerely, yes, ma. Good evening, doctor.
How are you?
I'm fine. I want to appreciate you for pouring out this wealth of knowledge to us. Like, maybe some people must have been seeing my comments when we started that, this topic was for me, this topic is for me, this topic for me. Some days ago, I was given a task on post-harvest stuff and a solution. I was like, how am I going to deal? When I saw this flyer, I was like, thank God, my prayer have been answered. So, doctor, I want to appreciate you for giving us this. You did justice to the whole topic, as in you did everything perfectly well. So on behalf of all of us here, we want to appreciate you. We want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Yeah. Doctor, there are so many hands here. Okay. So Adeyemi Fatimo, you've been asked to unmute and just say a word of thank you to our facilitator. Tell us where you're calling from.
Yeah, good evening, ma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, Ademo. How are you?
Adeyemi.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so very much. On behalf of all participants, I would like to sincerely appreciate you for the time and knowledge you share with us during the section on post-harvest handling. Thank you so very much. May Almighty Allah continue to bless you and enlighten you too. Thank you.
Thank you. And a very big amen.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. The training material will be shared and everyone will get it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Today has been phenomenal despite the initial challenges, but we have overcome. Yes. So students, participate. I don't like calling you students because all of you are big people,
yes,
CEOs and entrepreneurs in your different lives. So I'd preferably call you participants. Yes, participants, thank you so much for taking the time. Those of you that came very early and still waited all through to the class, attendance will be dropped on the WhatsApp group just for today. For those that have not seen it, attendance will be dropped there and you can take the attendance. Then all other information, as we all know, will continue to share in the group. Then there will be class tomorrow. Remember, this class was a fixed class. It was supposed to hold on Saturday, but because of Salah, we wanted our Muslim participants to enjoy their holiday and focus on the Salah preparations. So there will be class tomorrow so that our timetable will continue. Tomorrow's class still remains. So see us tomorrow by 4 p.m. as we continue the class as it should be. Thank you, everybody. We will be shutting down this meeting in the next 10 minutes. Thank you, Doctor. I'll be in your DM shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate the initiative, and I appreciate all the participants for being there. God bless you all. Thank you.